Hey friends, it is time for Tuesday Tips for Life. I know you are so excited. Hopefully at least as excited as I am. But we are talking today about what we've been talking the last 2 Tuesdays. And that is focusing on the 6 things that we're going to focus on, work on in 2018. The first of those is the one we've been talking about the last couple of Tuesdays. And that is commitment. So we talked about how there are a couple different areas of commitment that you and I may struggle in. And that could be, like we talked about the first Tuesday, of someone who can't stick with their commitments. It's easy for them to say, yes, I will do it, pick me, but then it's very difficult for them to follow through. They kind of burn out on their commitments. The second issue that you or I may face is that we can't commit to anything. Whether it be because we are afraid of responsibility, we're afraid of failure, or we just don't want people to expect anything of us, we might struggle with making commitments. And that's what we talked about last Tuesday. Today, we're going to look at 2 other issues quickly that you may struggle with in the area of commitment. The first being that you might commit to too many things. Now, for me, this would be the area that I have always had it more of an issue with in regards to commitments. I say yes to too many things, and then I struggle to give 100% to each thing. It's not that I didn't get it done, but I maybe just got it done with 90% effort and efficiency and excellence rather than 100%. So if that's you, listen up here. Committing to too many things. The deal is we have to set up boundaries in our lives and know our limits. God has set into place in the world things for us like stop signs, warning signs, like when the light goes green, yellow, red. So he sets up some things like yellow and red of some limits to show us that, hey, we can't do it all. We need rest, we need sleep, we need chill time. We need breaks, and God's tried to show us that, but sometimes, like me, I'm guilty, I don't always get it. I just say yes, 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 and make too many commitments. Not that any of those commitments were bad, it's just that it was too much, and I get tired, and I get exhausted, and I get pushed beyond my limits where I might get frustrated and have a little bit of a meltdown, and God doesn't want us to be on the brink of a meltdown. He wants us to know our boundaries and to set up ourselves with limits so that we know we can't do it all. And guess what? I promise you, it will get done. Like if it's for, maybe let's just say an organization, it will get done by someone else. You know, if you're doing your part, someone else can do their part. And I promise you that there will be things that someone else could do better than you. Maybe it's something you're not supposed to be doing. So be careful of saying yes to too many commitments. The other issue we can maybe struggle with in the area of commitments is not being able to prioritize our commitments. Now, I can, again, relate to this because as someone who would make too many commitments, then I would be left with the issue of, okay, which one takes precedence? Which one is the most important? Because when you have more than you can really do, you have to kind of prioritize what's most important. And whether or not you say yes to too many things and make too many commitments or not, even if you don't, even if you have a healthy understanding of how much you can do, we all still have the need to prioritize our commitments because we're going to have more than one commitment. And so we have to be able to know which one is a for sure thing that I can't mess this one up because it's a non-negotiable in my life. So, prioritize your commitments. Obviously, God should always come first. Your commitment that you've made to God should always come first. If that means you have to miss a school activity, you say, you know what? God's my number one priority, and I'm not going to flake on this commitment. Maybe it's saying no to going to the movies on a Wednesday night because you say, nope, my commitment to Jesus comes first. Whatever it may be, keep your priorities straight. And of course, family should be a top priority for you. So remember, for family and friends, but remember to keep them as a priority. And a lot of times you can figure out below that what's a priority to you. But I encourage you, this is a challenge. I know that sometimes you guys just don't want to think because when you're out of school, you just want to turn your brain off. But I encourage you to write out your commitments. And so list them and then number them in the order of most importance. So I'm hoping that you'll put God as number one, your faith as number one, and then continue from there and prioritize your commitments so that when you're in a bind where you're having to make a choice between two really good commitments that you want to fulfill, that you choose the one that's of a higher priority. So that's what we are looking at for this week at our Tuesday Tips for Life. Look at your commitments, set yourself some limits and guidelines that you don't overcommit, and also prioritize your commitments. We'll see you soon.